In many ways, this is the ideal setting for your regular rear-drive BMW, a twisting and undulating Austrian mountain road. However, this is not a regular BMW model. It is the new 2 Series Active Tourer and is in fact the brand's first ever front-wheel drive vehicle. For a brand whose tagline is the ultimate driving machine, there is a lot of valid interest around BMW's first front-wheel drive model, and specifically whether it can uphold the driving legacy shaped by its rear-drive cars. Like it or not, this new era has been a while coming for BMW. Despite the fact the car maker has publicly criticised other luxury brands in the past for utilising front-wheel drive architecture, it has been quietly plugging away at the Active Tourer since 2009. So it's fair to say the new people mover represents a shift in thinking. Now the big question on most people's minds is why front-wheel drive? And part of that reason can be answered from the Active Tourer's back seat. By reverting to front-wheel drive architecture, BMW says it's been able to make more space from a small layout. And as you can see, it's largely worked. There's no big transmission tunnel in the rear, and you could easily fit a 6-foot person in the back seat. The other reason for front-wheel drive architecture is money. The BMW Group has invested heavily in front-wheel drive technology for sister company Mini for several years, and by finally breaking the deadlock, it can now share more drivetrains between Mini and BMW platforms. The Active Tourer will be priced from $45,000 in Australia. Now 3 variants will be available in Australia when the Active Tourer lands later this year, and we're in the flagship 225i. It's powered by a 2-litre 4-cylinder engine producing 170 kilowatts and 350 newton meters, so it goes without saying that it's going to be the sportiest model in the lineup. Now the big question surrounding this car is how it drives on the road. BMW says they've been able to stay true to all the hallmarks of the brand in driving ability and everything else, but in more of a comfort-oriented package, and that certainly seems the nature of this car out on the road. All Active Tourers will come mated standard with an automatic transmission in Australia. In the model we drove, the 8-speed brought smooth and precise shifts, working well in unison with the flexible engine. The 225i also receives BMW's Driving Dynamics package, which brings different settings for efficient, comfort and sporty driving. From the get-go, it's quite easy to distinguish that this is a front-wheel drive car, especially on a slippery mountain road. If you do choose to tramp the foot a little bit, it spins up, bit of axle tramp, and you can feel the steering wheel tugging between your hands. While the 2 Series Active Tourer isn't the most engaging BMW out by any means, it's still quite a fun drive. There's nice even weighting to the steering, it reacts quickly to driver input, and the body's actually quite well controlled considering how tall and awkward the proportions are. Happily, this car is also refined too for a BMW. The road noise is a little bit noticeable at speed and on coarse chip sections of road, but everything else pretty much executes the luxury experience, which is a pretty good thing considering, you know, the aggressive entry price that this car will come in when it lands later this year. With almost 60% of its weight over the front wheels, it's no surprise the Active Tourer isn't as adept through the bends as your typical BMW. However, it is generally much more practical. Functionality is a redeeming feature all round with a 468-litre boot, split folding seats and an automatic tailgate. The Active Tourer's tall glasshouse shape allows good forward vision for the most part, with plenty of space for passengers. The fact that it's a front-wheel drive is something of a moot point, as the target audience for the Active Tourer is mostly first-time buyers, people whose primary concern is likely to be the badge on the front.